So since last video, I've gone ahead and marked out where everything's supposed to go on the table, or almost everything. And I'll show you here, I got the westbound lane and the eastbound lane that run across the back of the table. And then I've marked out areas here and here where the bridges will go. And of course you got the roadway comes under the bridges out to the front of the table here, and then also the train tracks go out along the road as well. And right here I've marked where the entry point is going to be to this field, which will be in this area. And as for this area here, which would be this area in here, still unknown. So I'll have to go ahead and plan that out once I get everything else done. So I'm going to start landscaping on the table, and I'm going to start with the roads at the back and work my way out to the front. And I'm going to be using two methods for landscaping around where the interstate's going to go. The first thing is going to be where the roads are, and to do that I'm going to be using Styrofoam. I got this big bundle of Styrofoam out of a dumpster, and so it was real nice, didn't cost me anything, and using Styrofoam is going to help keep the table light, so it's not that difficult to transport when I go to take it to a show. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing some cutting of the Styrofoam and fitting it onto the table. So when I was drawing out the roads on this table, I used this paper template that I made to make sure my sizes were right. And I made this by measuring what an actual interstate lane would be in real life and scaling it down to 1/64 scale. Now, if you can imagine here, you have your shoulder here, then you got your slow lane and your passing lane. And basically, my plan is to take this template and lay it here on my Styrofoam that I'll be using like this, and then use my felt tip marker to mark out how wide my piece of Styrofoam needs to be, and then I'll cut it to size. Now I'm going to have to make several pieces and build this up. And another thing is I'll need to bring in my train and also take into account that height, so I make sure that I build up enough elevation to also put a bridge in and still have enough room to get the train under it. So there's quite a few factors to take into consideration with this, but I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting some Styrofoam and build up some elevation. Well, that's a piece of Styrofoam cut and laid where it needs to go, but if you look at this edge here, you can see that when I cut it, yeah, that cut was supposed to be right down that center line, and yeah, that didn't happen. And not only that, the cut was really rough. So I don't know, maybe a box cutter is not the best tool to use, I don't really know, but I'm going to have to rethink my strategy before I cut out the next piece, because this I can't have. Alright, so I went ahead and squared off the end of this piece, and you'll notice that that is a lot more of a cleaner cut than what this is. So what did I do different here? Well, when I cut it, I used my ruler as a guide, and not sure how, but it just made that work out so much better. So that's the method I'm going to have to use, and I will go back and use my ruler on this here to try to clean that up a little better. But oh well, make a few mistakes here and there. At least if you guys see me doing them, you can try to avoid them yourself if you ever attempt something like this. Okay, that piece is laid in place. Could be a little better, but you know, I messed up the first time I cut it. And I'm just going to start putting more layers of foam on top of that until I reach the desired height. As I said, I need to be so much higher with the road to get trains under it, and actually I need to be up a little bit more than this because there's going to be a roadbed under the track as well. So get to work cutting more foam, I guess. Okay, so it's actually the next day. It was getting late when I was doing this before, so I decided to call it a night and pick up on it tomorrow, which here we are now. And I'm getting ready to cut another piece of foam. And what I'm going to do this time is I got my framing square here, and I'm going to use this as a guide when I do this cut to hopefully make it cleaner. I would have used my yardstick, but I have no idea where it is. Word of advice, don't leave your tools out where your other family members can see them. They will go missing. Another thing I did was change the blade in my knife. Hopefully that'll also help for a cleaner cut. So let's go ahead and try this again. I'm going to try just breaking this off. And that is a far cleaner cut compared to what I did before. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference or not, but alright, just going to make another one of these. And I should be able to get one more out of this. So. Now this one here is actually going to go right here. I've cut out quite a few pieces of foam, some bigger and smaller pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on this first lane here up to where the bridge is going to go, and then I'll go ahead and start on the front one here and work up to where the bridge is going to go as well. I got a bad feeling I'm not going to have enough foam to do this project, so I'm going to probably have to go look for some more. And I got to say, this is working pretty well, but it does create a hell of a mess, and I'm going to have to clean up here before I do anything else. So you probably noticed I ran into a little bit of a problem laying this piece of styrofoam here. Had a bit of a warp to it so it wouldn't sit flat, and that was easily fixed by just running some screws into it. But I don't want those screws in there, so what I'm going to do is wait till the glue dries and then I'm going to take those out. And once that's done, I can go ahead and put the next layer of foam down on top of this. But you also noticed me putting in these smaller pieces of foam here at the end. I did this because these were left over, and I think I'm going to be short on styrofoam anyway, so I'm trying to reuse as much as I can. But one of those deals is this will get covered up with a flat piece like this, and it won't be a big deal. The big thing is I need to have a flat piece of foam like this at the top of this when I finish, because that's where I'm going to lay my road down. And I don't really want to have anything open like that.